Hey, Top Hat family. So I'm back again. I've got another video. This one we're going to talk about, oh my God, what do we put these people in, right? So that I remember back when I first started this, feels like freaking forever ago. I remember going, oh my God, what do I even suggest? Somebody comes in and they're looking for a tuxedo, and I got a showroom full of tuxes, right? So the big key is, and this is regardless if it's a single order, whether it's a prom, whether it is a wedding. You got to ask those questions. You got to narrow down your answers. This way, you know where to focus in on because you're going to learn again. I keep saying this. You're going to be busy in spring and summer, and you need to really focus your questions in, hone them in, so this way you know what's going on. Okay. So one of the things that we're talking about when somebody comes in, they're generally like, let's talk single orders, let's talk prom. The majority of even weddings, the majority of them, a lot of them come in and they want black. So they want a nice basic black. So they don't know the difference. Now, our prices range anywhere from $119.95 out the door to $219.95 out the door. Okay, so there's a big difference there. So some of the people are going to go, okay, what's that difference? Okay. So like right when you first come in, one of the first three that you're going to see highlighted is our Ike Behar collection. Okay. So we have tuxedos. The older tuxedos, the lesser priced tuxedos are not fitted. Okay. So the newer ones are a slim fit. The newer ones have a more tapered fit and they have more tapered legs. They're not pleated. They're a flat front pant. So that's generally what the customer is looking for. They do not want a pant that they put on that they feel baggy in the seat, that they have pleats in the front. The only exception to the pleats in the front might be the dad. The dad might like the pleats in the front. But otherwise, what you're looking at is it's pretty much they want a black flat front pant, regardless of what color of pant, I should say. So when you're looking at tuxes, okay, what makes a difference from a really nice tuxedo down to a lower price tuxedo? And what I do is I always start at the top. So when we're going to stop and we're going to start pricing, I don't start at the bottom. I come over and I will start with my nicest one. So I will say, okay, this is one of our most beautiful tuxedos. This is by Ike Behar, Super 130s wool. If they say, what's Super 130s wool? I'm sure you've heard Super 130s sheets or Super 100 cotton Pima sheets or whatever. Basically what that is it is a square inch of the fabric and how many stitches did they put in the fabric to make it that soft. Okay, so the more stitches, obviously, the finer the garment's going to be. The less, it's going to be a little firmer. It's not going to be quite as soft. It's not going to look quite as expensive or have that nice touch. So that's something to play into your favor. You don't want to make them say, that was really bad. That's gross. That fabric's bad. You can say when you're comparing, oh, it is a nice tuxedo, but it doesn't have quite a soft a feel. It doesn't have quite that fitted in the legs and in the shoulders and in the waist, but it is a nice tuxedo and we do still offer it if you like. Okay, so it's all wording. It has to do with tone, reflection. Everything has to do with wording. So if we're looking at this one, I'm going to really talk upbeat about our top priorities, okay? So let's say that it does have that Super 130s wool. It's got a 2-button front. This is what they call a satin besom pocket. Okay, just see straight satin. Then you can also see this is what they call a notch lapel. So when I'm pointing this out to the customers, I can say, yes, look, this one is beautiful. It's got a beautiful, nice fit, Super 130s wool. All occasions. So if you're getting married in the summertime, it's going to be nice and cool. If you're getting married in the wintertime, it's going to be, even though it's a lighter weight fabric, you're not going to notice any cold difference. So going into something like that, okay? So right now, I think I'm going to change stories here a little bit. Actually, I think I'll do that on another video. Sorry, I'm getting myself sidetracked. My next video is going to be what makes a tux, what makes a suit, and what is the difference. But in the meantime, let's keep talking about, okay, what do I put them in? So when they come in the store, you basically want to be Johnny Investigator. So what you need to find out, you want to start asking questions. Hi, thank you for coming in our store. And I'm going to talk to this video like I literally talked to a customer. So, hi, thank you for coming in. How can I help you today? And they may say, I'm going to get married. I'm going to the prom. I'm going to a single event. And I'm saying, oh, awesome. That's great. If it's a wedding, I'm honing in. When is that wedding? When is the date? So I'm thinking in the back of my mind, when is the wedding? A wedding that's a year from now is a different than a wedding that's in 2 months, 3 months from now. And we'll talk to you about that. We'll talk about why. So I'm going to like keep all this stuff in my brain while I'm still casually talking. Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations on your wedding. So tell me what you're thinking about wearing. Are you thinking about wearing tuxedos or are you thinking about wearing suits? And one of the things that you're going to see is that the majority of the people don't really understand what the difference is. They're like, oh, well, I don't know. I saw your suit purchase special at the bridal show. I'm not really sure. I kind of like suits because everybody can buy one and get one. But I kind of like the idea of a tuxedo because they're dressier. So, okay, great. So the next thing, okay, they just said they're not sure about a tux or a suit, right? So I still got a whole store load to show them. I'm going to hone it down again. So I'm going to say, okay, so what's your color theme of your wedding? What color of tuxedo are you thinking about? What color of suit are you thinking about? And they'll say, oh, okay, so my colors are going to be, let's say burgundy. Burgundy is very common. Okay, so burgundy. And then I'll go from there and I'll say, are you looking to match the guy's accessories with the burgundy? And sometimes they look at each other, they're like, oh, I don't know what you mean. And so then I'll come over here and I'll say, are you looking to match the tie and the pocket square with the girls' dresses? And they're like, oh, yes, yeah, actually, that's what we want to do. Or they're like, no, we're going to keep it really traditional. We're going to go black. We don't want a vest. So you're going to hear all different myriad of combinations of what they want and what they don't want. So right now I've figured it down to, okay, the dress is burgundy. And maybe we're going to get a pick. Maybe we're going to look at accessories in the burgundy. Maybe we're not. But then I asked them at that point, so how dressy is your wedding going to be? Is it going to be in a church? Is it outdoors? What's the kind of theme you were thinking of? So if they're telling me like it's a barn wedding, I might start thinking, okay, burgundy dresses, they're in a barn. Maybe let's talk suits, okay? I can also show them tuxedos. But generally, if you think about it, typically a tuxedo in a church is going to be a little dressier, and I will tell the customer that. So it's not that they can't wear a suit in a church, but it's definitely dressier and more traditional to wear a tuxedo in the church, okay? So I might find out, okay, so what's the theme? They're like, oh, it's going to be really pretty. It's going to be fall colors, and it's in a year, and I want this, and I want this, and it's hydrangeas, and this, and whatnot. So I'm also thinking about fall colors in the back of my mind, and I say, okay, great. Well, if you're thinking fall colors, are you thinking about something in a tan? Are you thinking about something in a burgundy for the jacket, okay, for the actual outfit? They might be like, oh, yeah, I was thinking about a tan. And then I'll say, let me see some of your ideas, because I'm telling you what, whether it's a prom girl, whether it's a wedding, they got pictures on their phone about what they're looking for. So they're going to go through Pinterest and they're going to find pictures of guys wearing these ultra tight things, right? These like super tight, almost like ankle short outfits. And so what I'm going to do at that point is I'm going to say, okay, great. Let me show you what I have comparable. Okay. So let's bring it back again. Okay. So let's say I'm back at the question where I say, are you guys interested in suits or are you guys interested in tuxedos? And they're like, well, I'm not really sure. What is the difference between a suit and a tux? Okay, so here's a little bit of education, quick little version. I'm going to show you a couple things that break the rules, but I am going to talk about that. So just very politely, I just explain. I say, well, if you come over here and you take a look at something like this, this is a tuxedo. And what makes a tuxedo is generally the satin. So you've got satin on the lapel, whether it's a tiny stripe or whether it's the actual entire lapel. You have satin buttons, you have satin pockets. And so something like this one, that's called a satin besom. So see how it's closed together? That's a besom pocket. And then you start getting into the nitty gritty of, is it a 1 button? Is it a 2 button? And we're going to cover that in another video. But that's what makes the difference. So also too, some of the pants have the satin on the side. Some of them do not. So like this one, some of them might have a larger satin stripe. Some of them have no satin stripe, okay? But it's the jacket that is driving the train on whether it's a tux or a suit, okay? So I explained to them, well, when you're looking at a tuxedo, tuxedos are generally, and we can get them in other colors too. So don't let color be a thing, because if they're like, well, I was looking at tan, like, oh yeah, I have a tan tuxedo. So when you're looking at something like that, the lapel is generally satin. The pants generally have a satin stripe on the side. You generally have satin on the pocket. Something like this one is called a flap pocket because it literally flaps, okay? You're also going to see that there's 1-button tuxedos. You're going to see there's 2-button tuxedos. What makes the difference? Generally, a 1-button is more traditional. A 2-button tends to be a little bit younger for the customer, okay? The other thing is with a 2-button tuxedo, whether it's a 2-button, whether it's a 10-button, they only button the top button, okay? So you're going to see on final fitting days, guys are going to come out of the fitting room, and they're going to also be trying to do this button, and that's a no. You always leave that open. So technically, when they're standing there and they're getting their pictures done, for prom, wedding, whatever, they want to have that top button buttoned, and they're standing all proper. And then when they actually sit down to eat or they sit down to do whatever, that's when they unbutton that button. Okay, so that's the proper etiquette. Also, too, I'm going to throw this at you. So a cummerbund. A cummerbund is just like this thing that goes on your waist like this, literally. And it has pleats on it. So one of the things about a cummerbund is that the pleats face up, because in the old days, they used to call it a crumb catcher, okay? So literally, if they want to be ultra traditional and you've got like this super traditional dude and that's what he wants to do, then great, go cummerbund, okay? Anyway, that's just a little side note. So if we're going to look at suits, so we already talked about what makes a tuxedo, right? And everything on our showroom floor on a mannequin is a tuxedo, okay? Sorry, I went off into the suits. But everything on a mannequin in our store is a tuxedo. So if somebody's looking at tuxedos, this is kind of like our tuxedo showroom, okay? Then we have our 3 top premiers. The Ike Behar and the Navy Sebastian, and we'll talk more about these later, and the Black Shawl. The one thing that is very, very nice about these, and a really good place to go and get some education on these, is on our website, topattux.com. Because when you actually take a look at it, it will describe to you what it is. That it is a 2-button Super 130s wool, satin stripe on the pocket. Most of the jackets do not come with a button on the sleeve. That's generally something retail. So you can get a really good feel for what you're doing. So, and ask an associate if you're not sure. So like if you think of this pyramid, this is our top pyramid. This is what we rent the most. This is really the meat and potatoes. So if you steer them into black, if they're looking at navy, then great. We're going to go for these 3. Okay. So also we can come over and I can say, oh, this is a shawl lapel. Okay. Because see how it just kind of scoops around the neck? Easier seen on this ivory. And again, we've got flat pockets. I can go into a paisley, but this one is the color that I want to show you. And that is, I'm trying to find my hand. That is what they call a peak lapel right there. So you can see it comes up like a peak, kind of like Batman. Now, peak is not as popular. Like if you're going to compare in a black tuxedo, there is this one. We're just talking basics, okay? This is Tuxedo 101. So there's a black tuxedo with a peak lapel, right? 2-button. There's also a 2-button in the notch, right? What's the difference? So the big thing is it just kind of depends on what the person's style is. A peak lapel is very old school, kind of fashion, kind of trendy. Some guys aren't comfortable doing it, and that's fine. So that's just kind of the difference in your lapels. So now let's talk about, again, let's go back to the suits, okay? And then I'm going to show you a couple things. So the first thing is, okay, John, so I understand that you're looking at a tuxedo, but you want to know what the difference is. So really, what you're looking at when you have a suit, and I'm going to flip this. I was going to try to flip this. So when we're looking at a suit technically has no satin buttons. Suit typically for sale does have the sleeve buttons. Now, we do rent suits, they don't have the sleeve buttons, but we'll go into that. So if they're looking at buying, like on our suit special for weddings, they'd actually get a suit like this. So they're going to get the suit, they're going to get the coat and the pants. So we're not seeing any satin anywhere. This one happens to come with a matching 3-piece vest, and that one is more money, obviously, than your regular. And then they've got the pants. And the other thing that's really nice is you're going to see that it's going to say slim. So it says Caravelli Slim. Okay, we have 2 brands. And we're really going to go into that in another video where we're going to talk about the difference between Caravelli and Fiorelli. But in a nutshell, what's the difference between a suit to a tux? It's all satin. That really is the big difference. The other thing about that is, I'm sorry, I keep doing my ums. So the other thing about that is there are a couple tuxedos that do kind of break that. So we have something over here, up there. That one is called the Cement Allure. To the right of it, that one's called the Slate Blue Allure. And the charcoal, and then the tan, okay? Those are called a tuxedo, okay? But the thing about them is they actually do not have any satin on them whatsoever. Like, whatever. Like, there's nothing. So they are considered a tuxedo by the industry, but they are truly, like, there's no satin. This is another one as well. This is our Cobalt Allure, and that's a tuxedo. So those are the only ones that break the rules, okay? So typically when somebody comes in, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about styles. When somebody comes in and they're kind of standing here, we're going to lead them to the front of the store. And the first one that I'm just going to describe these to you, okay? So you kind of get a good feel for what they are. Because I know when you come out here, you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. So something like this one, just a very nice, this is called the Parker Super 130s wool. It has a 2-button front. Also inside of it is a little trick about the tag, and we'll go into that, but it tells you what it is. It tells you the price. It tells you the fit, and it's slim, and it tells you the style number. This one, these technically are not the right pants that would go with this. Sometimes mannequin pants, we use just whatever, but those are pleated pants, and so it would get a flat front pant. But, so that's something like that. It also, in the back, has what they call side vents. So if you look, now that Velcro is good. I'm going to do it on another one because I can't move him. Okay, so you'll see here that it's got a side vent. There's 2 on each side. Velcro's killing me. Okay, let's look at it on this suit. So the majority of the suits, they either have side vents, which there's 2 of them, or they have a center vent. Okay, so there are some that have 1 vent in the back or 2. So these are called side vents. This one's called a center vent. Okay, so getting back into it, if we are looking at the Ike Behar, the Navy Sebastian, this is the same fabric as its buddy in black. Super 130s wool, slim fit, satin, bees and pockets. No buttons on the sleeve. Flat front pant. They all have these adjustable clips on the side of them. They don't need to wear belts. If somebody ever asks about that, which you'll hear that a lot, no, you don't wear a belt with a tux. They also have, this is the notch lapel. And again, it is the double back, the slit. Double back vent. If I go over here, this is another super popular choice. This one is the navy black shawl. Okay, same fabric. We've got this one and this one have the exact same pants. If I do that, this navy blue, navy Sebastian, and this one have the exact same pants, okay? And big difference is this one has a black lapel, black shawl lapel, has black satin on the pocket. And again, the pants are the same, the flat front. And again, we're looking at the name, the coat style, the pant style, that it's slim, and the price. Okay, and we'll talk about more. We'll talk about why that's super important when you're filling in styles in a little bit, okay? But just so you know, so these are our top end. Then we also go into our, okay, you want a black, but you don't want to spend so much, okay? So then I have kind of like my next step down, and I would say like my Joseph Abood. Joseph Abood has a peak lapel, has a 2-button front, satin beads and pockets. This one also comes with, the pant comes with a very narrow satin piping, if you can see that. They, again, do have the adjustable clips. So there's something like this one. If we want to go a little less expensive, now I'm getting down into the Michael Kors. Nice. This one is a modern fit. There's a difference. And there's 3 fits: classic, modern, slim. Okay. You're going to see they're mostly modern or slim. So when we're looking at this one, a modern fit is somebody, I'm going to give you a picture in your head. So it's somebody like your dad who doesn't really like wearing anything super tight. He does not wear that skin tight suit that your brother does. He would never ever wear anything that tight. He's going to be more comfortable in something that's a regular fit. Now, I am going to throw this in here. Do I get the question many times when booking weddings? Oh, this is a slim fit. Is it going to be okay for my dad? I say yes, absolutely. So I don't have to size him in the one that's going to be like super slim and is crawling up his rear end, or what he feels like it is when it's not and it looks great. We can adjust the sizes with that. So that's always something you want to reassure them, is that no, if we do put them in a slim, we will make sure they're very comfortable with the sizing that we pick for them. So that's a big relief. Then you go on to something like this one, notch lapel. This one's called the Roma. Flat pocket, 1-button front. So then you just start to see that a lot of these just start looking alike, okay? So I've got different lapels, right? So I've got peak. I've got notch. Peak, 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 and then I have shawl, right? So at this point, this is kind of when it starts getting cool, because what you've done is you've narrowed down your colors, okay? So I want blue, I want black, I want ivory, I want white. Okay, cool. Let me show you what I have in those. I'll also ask them, what's your price range? What are you looking to spend? Like some of them, they don't want to spend very much. I'll still start with the top and show that to them and explain the benefits of it. It's their choice, man. They might like it and want to spend $199, $219 on the rental. It's not my call to not give them everything that I can offer, okay? So then at this point, you're going to see we get into a lot of our fashion tuxedos. So we've got the gray with the black shawl. We've got just the, that one's kind of like a gold, a silver swagger. I should have a burgundy coat on that with a little shine. I've got the gold and then a silver. And then we also come down into what you see, we've got paisleys. And we have just a plethora of tuxedos. And if the customer ever asks, how much is that to rent? This is where this comes in handy, okay? So you're going to open up this and it's going to say that for this tuxedo, the price is $239.95. But we take our sale price off. We take a $40 off that. So this one out the door really goes out the door $199.95. Okay, let me say that again. Every tuxedo in here that is marked on the waist is going to have a sale price $40 higher than what we really put it out for. So you want to make sure that you explain to them, okay, this is normally $239.95. We're giving you our sale price of $40 off, so you out the door will be $199.95. Okay, does that make sense? So then we can come over here, and whether you're, again, like I said, whether you're looking for weddings, whether you're looking for proms, you can see that we have light gray, we've got charcoal gray, there's more of like a blue. So when you're actually breaking down, okay, when you are actually breaking down a tuxedo, it's actually fairly simple. You are looking at either having a slim fit or a regular fit, okay? So slim or regular. You have the wool. Generally, all the nicer wools are the Super 130s wool or Super 100s wool, and they're a slim fit, okay? So the majority of what you find out here is going to be a slim fit. Keep in mind, again, there are going to be some things that are not a slim fit, and it will say so on the tag. So like, let's say this one, my charcoal allure, that is a modern fit, and it says MOD. And so basically what that means is little roomier, okay? They got a little more room in the shoulders, they got a little bit more room in the waist, just everywhere, okay? Because everything on a slim fit suit is literally less fabric in the arms, the sleeves, the legs, the waist. And I will say some guys like them super slim, some guys like them so slim that they're almost gonna pop. But I do kind of warn them. This is a kind of a weird point to break this in, but there is a damage waiver that when they do sign, they are saying, and I'll talk to them about this when I'm writing it to them, like seriously, some of these guys, they want them so slim that I will warn them. I'll literally say, can you sit down? Can you sit down on our bench? Can you sit down and you don't feel like your pants are gonna rip? Because I can't tell you the number of weddings that guys have gone to, and they're out on the dance floor and they come back and they bring the pants back that they said that they knew fit them and they loved them, have now been split up the butt. So, and that's kind of like a whole nother video. And at that point, you would probably just grab a supervisor and talk to them about, okay, what do we do for like replacement charges? Because if we can fix it, it's one thing. If it's totally wrecked, then it's another thing, okay? So I do hope, again, that video did help, okay? So just to give you a quick rundown again, don't pay attention to the color. I'm just talking. We've got a shawl. We've got a notch. We have another notch. And then the last lapel is a peak, okay? After that, it's semantics. 1 or 2 button. Slim fit, regular fit. Now, I know I threw a ton of information at you, and you might be like, oh my God, I'm so confused. I still don't know what to do. Okay, so the customer comes in. Hey, what are you looking for? I'm getting married. Okay, great. Are you thinking, what color are you thinking? First off, again, are you thinking suits? Are you thinking tuxes? Okay, I want a tux. Let's just pretend. I want a tux. Okay, great. So the tuxes, here's what we have. What are you thinking about for color? I want to steer them. I don't want to show them every tux in here. You know how long that would take? And plus, at the end, they're going to go, well, I really didn't want to light gray anyway. And then you're like, I just spent 20 minutes showing you light gray. So that was my bad because I didn't really find out what you needed, right? So, okay, so you want a tux. What color of tux are you thinking about? Okay, cool. You want black. I'm going to show you my blacks. You want blue. I'm going to show you my blues. You want ivory. Okay, cool. I'm going to show you my ivories. Whatever color you say, that's what I'm going to show you. And then I'm going to ask you about what accessories. What are you thinking about for ties and vests? And with a groom, it's a little bit different, but not a whole lot. It's just kind of tweaking in the words, and some of that you're going to learn. But it's just, we're going to have a separate video about wedding training too. So it's going to be just what are you steering them towards? You just want to pinpoint so you're showing them the right thing. Okay? You do not want to show them the entire showroom and then have them go, oh, well, I just really want a white, because then you just wasted their time. Okay? And that's the fastest thing. You want to find out, cut to the chase, get to the meat and potatoes. What do they want? Okay, great. What color of accessories do they want? Okay, great. In that accessories, do they like a vest or do they like suspenders? Maybe they like neither. Okay, let's get rid of that. What are you thinking about a tie? Do you like a bow tie? Do you like a long tie? They're going to tell you. They know. Sometimes they might say, I'm not really sure. I want to try it on. Okay, we'll talk about that in another one. But this one also, here's a pocket square. So are you looking to have that look? And then once they get that, the shoes are included in my price. Okay, so when I say the outfit's $239.95 and I subtract my $40 discount, it's $199.95. Now, of course, prices do vary. I'm just throwing that out because it's easy math. So in that rental price, they do have a large selection of shoes that come with the rental. So of course, anything in a flatter color, so say like that, when I'm pointing to the far one, the brown, the tan, the gray, the black, those are generally shoes that we use with suit weddings, or they're a shoe if somebody doesn't like that black shiny shoe, okay? So some people will go, oh, I don't like that tuxedo shoe. Or, oh, this is just way too crazy for me. But this is your standard tuxedo shoe. They call that a patent leather. It's actually plastic, but it is a shiny. That's your traditional. Now we have black and white wings. I've got brown and ivory wings, white and ivory, okay? So typically, if you're renting a tuxedo to somebody, and you're like, I don't really know what color of shoes. Generally, kind of the rule of thumb, with navies, the browns look great. The browns look fabulous with the navies. The browns also look really nice with the light gray. Kind of anything, the tan, like, God, that's a great color. The dark brown, anything like that, that's a great color with. When you think of black, black can almost go with just about anything. I mean, I probably wouldn't do a black shoe with the navy in a suit. I would do a black shoe in this one though. And I gotta be honest, it's not my love that we're mixing navy and black. That's like old school, something you don't do. I'm not crazy about that. That's just me. But some people see that, they love it, it's amazing. But typically, if you are gonna show a shoe, it's generally the tan shoe. And these shoes all come with the rentals. I gotta make sure you can see them. Now, what if somebody looks at this shoe? Okay, and look how pretty. What if somebody looks at that shoe and they're like, well, what are they made out of? Well, they're not leather. They're just like a polyurethane, like a pleather. So I was thinking about maybe getting something for my groomsmen as a gift, or when they come in, they just automatically have come over here to the retail shoes, okay? We do have a wedding special, and so with the wedding special, retail shoes, anybody walks in, kid from prom, anything like that, he wants to buy a pair of shoes, $79.95. But for that groom that says, oh, I really want to get the guys a shoe, then it's their own shoe, the customer's shoe. It turns into a special order, which we would write down. It is the extra money, but that's all commission in your pocket. Keep in mind, any of these things, we didn't really talk about commissions. So any of these things that are extras, that are add-ons, all mean more add-ons in your pocket. So literally from a single order that you book to a wedding, you are motivated to pick top of the line, to rent top of the line, because you get paid more in commissions. So for every single order you rent, and I rent them in a nice tuxedo, Super 130s, two $19.95 tuxedo, I'm going to make more commission than on a tux that I rent for $169.95. Does that make sense? So there's definitely motivation in weddings to sell the shoes. There's also motivation in weddings like the suits. The suits are a fabulous package. And I think I'm going to cut this one short because this one's getting a bit long. But hopefully that answered some of your questions. And I would say definitely if I left any holes or I skip around a lot, I do have a tendency to be a little ADHD, so sorry about that. But hopefully you did learn something. And I'm going to sign off and we're going to talk about suits next. Okay, thanks.